Welcome to 0 to 60.
I'm Matt McChesney. I am the owner and operator of 60 Football Academy and 60 Equipment. Played at the University of Colorado from 2004. 6 years in the National Football League on both sides of football.
I'm Matt McChesney. This is 0 to 60. That is Coach Prime. We are at the University of Colorado. Brother, thank you so much.
All right. 0 to 60. We're rolling. Welcome to 0 to 60. I'm your host, Matt McChesney. Happy Thursday. Man, I am under the weather like a son of a bitch, so I'm going to try and push through this as much as I can. My man, Brian Howell from the Boulder Camera is on today. The Boulder Daily Camera and Buff Zone. He also wrote 100 Things You Need to Know About the Colorado Buffaloes Before You Die. It's a great book. You probably need to write another one because things have changed since he wrote that book. Bailey's on the ones and the twos. BH is going to join us here shortly. We got a big show for you coming up. We got a good guest tomorrow and a great guest Monday. Let's get this bitch rolling, Bailey. And you're going to have to help me out here a little bit, bro. My voice is going, and if I have to get up and leave the show, just help.
It's all good. All good. This is going to be a great show on this fine Thursday. Everyone tuning in, we appreciate you. The show is brought to you by Bet Online. Bet Online is the world's most trusted betting platform, your number one source for everything sports betting. Bet Online is every stat, every matchup, and even live odds and spreads to bet on during the games. The largest catalog of odds and everything from football, MLB playoffs, NHL, NBA, to even political props. Head on over there. When the game's over, head on over to our online casino and get in on a game of blackjack or poker, or unwind with one of our over 150 slot games. Head to the website today, get in on the action with America's most trusted site for online wagering. Bet Online, the game starts here. The show is also brought to you by Cherubundi. Cherubundi provides you a natural product with no added sugar using tart cherries, which are the highest antioxidant fruit or vegetable in the world. Every NFL team uses Cherubundi. 10 out of the last 11 Super Bowl champions and 66 out of 67 Power 4 conference football team use Cherubundi. So head on over there and check them out. Big Matt, I'm not even going to waste any time on this fine Thursday. Let's get right into it. This is going to be a great show. Let's go ahead and get right into it. Bring in our special guest, Colorado beat writer for Buff Zone and Daily Camera, Boulder Daily Camera. Let's bring him in. Brian Howell, welcome to the show. Thank you for joining. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me, guys. And Matt, you look great today. You don't look sick, so I hope you feel better. But thanks for having me.
If I look good, maybe I'll feel good. But I don't feel terrible. I just don't feel like I can breathe. These high school kids are disgusting creatures. Yeah. I swear to God, they're sick with something all the time. So it just kind of just sheds off to the coaches. BH, what's up, bro? How are you? How's life? How's your family? Things good?
I'm good. And enjoying a bye week. I'm glad there's 2 bye weeks this year. I think that should be every college football season because
why is that this year?
Well, every few years, the way the calendar sets up, because the season starts like that last weekend of August. And so the way the calendar sets up, there's 2 buys built in. And so it happens like every 5 years or whatever. But I think they ought to do it all the time. I think too. Yeah, a colleague of mine made a good point. I thought the first bye week for Colorado, everybody has different bye weeks, obviously, but the first one for Colorado came after was it 4 games? No, it was 5 games. I think that was a good one mentally for them. This one they need physically. They're 8 games in, and Shador even mentioned it after the game. He goes, "Man, this is coming at a good time. I'm a little banged up." And so he's not the only one. We've seen Will Shepard, Travis Hunter, obviously was for a couple games was banged up, and as you know, anybody playing in the trenches is banged up right now, and they will continue to be. But at least a week off makes you feel a little bit better. So I think this one's coming at a good time.
So elaborate on that a little bit with the injuries, since you brought it up. Is there anybody else we should keep our eye on that we're going to be getting back? I understand that monumental injuries are Miller's out for the season with a broken leg. We're not talking about that. But like Shiloh, you think he'll be 100% healthy? I know he's playing, but I don't know if he's 100% healthy. Welch, guys like that. Do you think we'll be able to get a damn near 95% health moving into Texas Tech and Lubbock?
Yeah, you never know with some of those guys, and they're pretty quiet on it. And unless we ask about specific players, you don't know the status because there's no injury report. There's no injury report. So, but we do know, like Micah Welch, obviously has had the hamstring issue. He did not play this last week, and so with a hamstring, really the thing is rest. And so he didn't play last week. He's not going to have a game this week. Obviously, that's going to be a big one. One that I'm curious about. We've never heard what's going on with this guy, but Dayon Hayes. The transfer from Pitt, who had a couple of sacks at was it CSU, I think. And he hasn't. I don't think he's played since. He's missed like 4 or 5 games. So they've done well without him, but you'd like to get him back. I mean, he was their top pass rusher the first 3 weeks of the season. So I don't know his status, but it'd be nice to get him back. And I just think any lineman and any linebacker right now is just enjoying a bye week right now and not hitting people and not being hit.
Brian Howell from the Boulder Daily Camera and Buff Zone and the beat writer for the Colorado Buffaloes. Excuse me. And I'm a guy that I've known for 25, 30 years now, like we've known each other forever, and he does an unbelievable job covering this team. And again, one of those guys that covered it when we were 1-11 and 3-8 and had to go through the hell of the Pac-12 and everything that came with it. You wrote a book back in the day called 100 Things You Need to Know About the Colorado Buffaloes, and I love it. I think it's an awesome book. And my question to you now is, you think you're going to have to write another one?
I'd be curious if the publisher comes back and wants to update it. I did one on the Broncos as well, and this was, I can't believe how long ago it's been now, but I did this one on the Broncos that came out literally, like I had to do a revision during the editing process when they signed Peyton Manning. So it was basically through the pre-Peyton Manning era. Well, when he retired, they came back and said, we want you to revise this thing, because we need the Peyton Manning era in there. I wonder if the publisher will come back and say, yeah, we want you to revise this and get the Coach Prime era in there. They should, because this is, over the last 20 years, I mean, really since you played, this has got to be the best. I mean, 2016 is up there, but this is really the best, I guess, era. Is it too short to be an era at this point? But outside of it's the beginning of one, but outside of 2016, this is the best football we've seen, really since Gary was fired after 2005, right?
So, hey, what do you attribute this to, bro? Like you've been there every day. You're watching practice. You're in the press conferences. You go on the flights. You're there all the time, right? This is what you do. Mm-hmm. So you've seen it even more than I have, even more than like all the guys they bring in. You're glued to it. What do you attribute all this to, really deep down, B? Like I know it's that there's a lot that goes into that question, but if you maybe one or two main things, Brian, that you really attribute this growth to.
Well, first of all, I think it's funny how when you go back and listen, if you go back now and listen to what Coach Prime said all along, what's happening is what he told us was going to happen, right? And everybody doubted him along the way, and then all of a sudden it was like, oh yeah, that did happen. Oh yeah, that happened too. And there's all this stuff that, like, last year he's like, yeah, we built from the outside in, which you don't hear football coaches say. They always want to build inside out. Well, he built outside in because he's like, that's what I can attract right away, because that's what I played. Well, they had a ton of skill players. They would have been the best 7-on-7 team in the country last year.
Oh yeah,
but you don't play 7-on-7. And he's like, well, then we needed to get linemen. Well, what'd they do? They went out and got linemen, and I don't think it's a great group, especially on the offensive line. There's been those transfers haven't panned out, a lot of them, but it's an upgraded group, and the defensive line is certainly upgraded. I mean, that group, you got guys like Chidozie Nwankwo, who is an absolute beast, and
Rick Shithouse, bro. That kid is a monster.
And if anybody's been next to him, just up close next to him, you're like, he's as thick as he is tall. He's like, I think he's like 5'10" tall and about 5'9" thick.
It's 5'10" club, bro. Yeah. I'm telling you, these linemen that are under 6 foot are mean.
Yeah. Oh, he's. I mean, you remember like Mustafa Johnson?
Oh yeah, dog. I
way
still
too,
work with
so.
Mustafa. So I bet Mustafa is killing it in Canada right now. By
Right.
the way,
Yeah.
like, he's like first team All Pro and like D lineman of the year, and they can't block him. I
Right.
bet you he Cameron Wakes this bitch. I bet you it's just a matter of time for somebody in the NFL gives him an opportunity.
Well, people, there's
Fucking big dick Stanley. So hold on a second, Brian. So Stanley, this is 0 to 60 bus brought to you by Stanley Harris's.
Yes.
Stanley Harris is a bad motherfucker. He's always contributing. So we appreciate you, Stanley. You're the fucking man, bro.
Shout out to Stanley Harris. We appreciate you. Keep going.
Sorry.
Yeah, sorry. I mean, really, those shorter defensive linemen, there's this thing against them that they can't play in the NFL. But Mustafa Johnson's a beast. Chidozi's a beast. I mean, those are NFL players.
Leverage.
So yes, and so that's one of the big differences is they've got better people in the trenches, and they just got better players. And if you look at every transfer cycle or recruiting cycle, however you want to look at it, that since Deion Sanders has been here, they've come out of it at the other end. They're a better football team. Every single one. Starting from the very first one when he got here in December of 22, when that was over, like, yeah, they're better. They're not there yet, but they're better. And then the next one, yeah, they're better. And so they keep getting better. And frankly, once you get into the season, I think what has really attributed to this, Matt, is that this reminds me of the 2016 team in that some things started happening and they started to believe. And you see the belief and the confidence just grow every single week. And I thought it's interesting because I think both teams gained that belief in a loss on the road. And I think that for 2016, it was at Michigan.
Yeah, I remember that game.
When they went up there and they lost that game, Sefo gets hurt, but they smacked Michigan in the mouth first and stood toe-to-toe with the Wolverines for a little while and then lost that game. And this year, I think it happened in Nebraska, and they got smacked in Nebraska down 28-0. But if you watch the well-off media video, the halftime speech from Deion Sanders was got on him. He got on him big time. Yeah. And what happened in the second half? They shut him out 10-0.
Points, no points by Nebraska. Yeah.
And,
turning point the season.
I've heard some people say, well, yeah, Nebraska took their foot off the gas. Nebraska's not taking their foot off the gas against Colorado.
No, they were trying to score 60 that day, bro.
They would have loved to have scored 60 points that day, but they couldn't. I think halftime of Nebraska turned this thing around because I think that they got mad and they got ticked off at halftime. And I think that turned around because they've played good football ever since they came out of the locker room in Lincoln at halftime, short of they didn't finish against Kansas State. But I think both these teams learned something in a big road game and a tough environment, and they kind of flipped the switch.
Brian Howell from the Boulder Daily Camera Buff Zone here joining us. Bailey, I know you got some questions to shoot.
All right, let's go ahead. Brian Howell, I can't thank you enough for joining us. Let's talk about Jordan Seaton a little bit. He's a true freshman out at left tackle, and he's a leader on that offensive line. He's playing really, really well. You see the stats here. Your thoughts on his play through the first 8 games?
Really good freshman tackle, and he would be a really good junior tackle, honestly. He's a guy that you just don't see freshman offensive linemen ready to go a lot. Now, we've seen it a couple years in a row now. Van Wells a couple years ago, Hank last year, but you don't see these guys be ready and be dominant as freshmen very often. And Jordan Seaton's a different animal. He's had some growing pains, a few holding penalties and things like that. But I think we're seeing him get better as time goes along. And he's a beast as well. I mean, that's an NFL guy in 2 years. I mean, that to me, that's a 3-and-done type of player that he's going to be.
Seaton?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we've been saying that Seaton's the number 1 pick in the draft when he comes out, bro. He's Orlando Pace, Jake Long type.
Yeah, and who's the guy? He reminds me a little bit of the kid from Oregon a couple years ago. Wasn't a kid.
Penny Sewell. Yeah, the kid from Sewell. Yeah, that's a good comparison. He's a monster.
So I think Seaton, he I don't know what he actually weighs, but they list him at 285. There's no way he's only 285. He's at least
310, dude.
Yeah, he's bigger than that.
He's fucking huge, man. Yeah. 285, my ass.
I know that might have been his IMG weight, but he's not that now. But he's a beast, and he's frankly to me, he's their best offensive lineman as a true freshman.
Yeah, that really says something. You see, he's a leader on that offensive line. You see on the well-off videos, he's really, he's a leader, and that says something about a true freshman out there out at left tackle balling.
Well, he real quick too. If you watch his press conferences, he's one of the most mature freshmen and well-spoken freshmen that we've ever talked to in my time covering the Buffs. And there's been a few of them, but like he's funny, he's charismatic, and he's really intelligent when you talk to him. And he's not fazed by a press conference where a lot of seniors can be as well.
Yeah, no doubt.
And look, one thing I will say here is we've got Philip Dukes on tomorrow, and Philip Dukes is Dukes the Scoops. He was there on Saturday. He's the national recruiting analyst for On3 Sports, and he talks to a lot of these kids, and he'll be on tomorrow's show at noon. We got to bump it up an hour so we can accommodate Phil. But
yeah.
I bring that up because I wanted to get your opinion on this, Brian. Travis and Shedeur come in with Coach Prime. Those two players and Coach Prime attract the guys they brought in with them in the transfer portal, obviously, but they attract Jordan Seaton.
Yeah.
You get a 5-star number 1 tackle in the country. Well, now Seaton's in there balling, and he's going to be first-team freshman All-American, maybe just an All-American. Like, let's just take the freshman tag away. I've never seen a freshman operate like this before, and I tip my cap. Yeah. I played as a freshman as a true freshman in the NCAA, and it was fucking ruthless. I got hurt. I was not ready to play. So, should have redshirted. With Smith being there and Juju and all these other kids, and they're offering in-state guys now with Zane D'Souza being committed, the big tight end from Loveland who's Dungeon Family. They offered Deacon, he's Dungeon Family. Brett Coolidge's Dungeon Family. Do you think now Seaton's going to be able to attract the next guys that come in, and not just 1 or 2 of them now? I mean, shit, if you're a dog, why don't you want to play at CU? I got to agree with that, because all we are is just DAWG dogs.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I think it's sort of like the Peyton Manning effect with the Broncos. I mean, the Broncos got really good all of a sudden. Why? Because you get Peyton Manning and people want to play with him. Well, that's what happens with Colorado is you've got guys that have wanted to play with Travis and Shedeur. I mean, you look at these receivers talk about, LeJontay West was like, I wanted to play with Shedeur Sanders. I mean, the guy gave up catching 108 passes last year at FAU, and he could have done the same thing this year to catch maybe a third of that or half of that this year and play with Shedeur. And so I think the same thing is going to happen with Jordan Seaton is, you're going to see these guys want to be here. And frankly, I think there's always been that appeal with Colorado with Deion Sanders here. But the one piece that has been missing was the wins. And now you're getting the wins. And now these guys show up and everything they're saying is actually true. and they're actually going to win football games. So I can not only be in the spotlight, I can not only get some NIL, I can not only get coached by Deion Sanders and Warren Sapp and all these guys, but I can win football games too. Okay, cool. And so I think it's not just Seaton, but I think that whole combination of it. But I do think, guys like Seaton are a trailblazer in that that's a risk. For a 5-star to say, yep, I'm going to put all my eggs in Colorado's basket.
Hell yeah, it's a risk. But look, I think it also sets a little bit of a precedent,
Yeah.
And look, I can only go with what I've experienced back in the day, but the 2000 recruiting class, God, I'm old. That was full of a lot of guys that everyone thought was going to leave the state, and everybody decided to stay home. Now, Craig Oaks and Marquisha Houston ended up leaving anyway, but at the same time, a lot of good Colorado homegrown players stayed home.
Yeah.
And I equate that to now you've got national players, because we used to national recruit, but to a point. We weren't on the same level as some of the other schools. It was still recruit, reform, and develop for Gary.
Yeah.
With Coach Prime, he can get players that you can, I don't know if people understand this really, but do you understand how hard it is to rebuild on the run and recruit on the run and develop on the run? They're developing guys as they play them. They're not just like, hey, we're going to practice with you and lift and run, and we're going to get you right mentally, and then maybe next year you'll be ready. They're like, no, we got to do all this shit. Oh, and you have to play.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's a rarity in my opinion. It's something you just don't see. I think it's going to attract more kids than it does push them away. You've got national recruits all over the place looking at CU and going, how do I go play there, rather than, man, well, if they recruit me, I guess I'll give them a look. They're seeking us out. That makes recruiting a whole lot easier when the recruits come to the till.
Well, I think one of the perfect examples of that is Colton Hood, the cornerback that came here from Auburn. Yeah, and I mean, you look at cornerback, and they're loaded, right? With Travis and DJ McKinney is balling out, and they have Preston Hodge, and so you're thinking, who else is going to get on the field behind with those three guys there? Well, they work in Colton Hood, and he's really good too. And so now you see that like you're really good. We need to get you on the field. If you're that good, they're going to find a spot for you. And we've seen that at various spots. I mean, look at the rotation they got with their pass rushers. Where they've got 6-7 guys now that they're not afraid to just stick them out there. Last year it was Jordan Dominic was going to be out there all the time because that was their guy. And this year, and he was good. But this year it's like we got 6-7 guys. We need them all in there. Keaton Wade at Arizona, he had 2 sacks. You know how many snaps he played? 11. He played 11 snaps that day. That's it. But had 2 sacks, and it was in the post-game press conference because he was one of the stars of the game. All he played was 11 snaps. So they're rotating those guys in there to where they're giving them opportunity and saying, you may not play 80 snaps today, but go make the most of your 15. And they love it. And I think that we're seeing that with a lot of these guys, and that's going to attract those recruits as well. And you look at, remember that UCF game, and UCF was talking about how big of a deal that was. There was a huge recruiting weekend, and Coach.
Yeah, none of them were there to see you apparently either.
Right, and Coach Prime makes the comment like, "Well, they're kind of here to see us," and everybody's like, "Oh,
they are."
No, they're not. Well, guess what's happened since then? There's a kid that was committed to UCF that's flipped to Colorado, a defensive lineman. UCF's had a few guys that have entered the transfer portal that don't be surprised that they might wind up in Colorado, and so yeah, when it just makes me, when I go back to my original comment of like everything these guys say ends up being true. Remember when Shador over the summer was like, we're everybody's Super Bowl, and everybody gets all offended by that? They've been everybody's Super Bowl because everybody wants to be there to be them, to be with them and watch them. And then Colorado says, yeah, well, come play with us too.
Yeah. Well, look, Brian, you've been covering this team for so long. You've been through the ups and the downs. And I think people don't understand, like, reporters, like, you're supposed to report what you see, and you don't sit there and project. You're reporting day by day. So like, you one day you could be like, hey, they weren't very good today, we got to get better. And to the fucking idiots that out here that don't understand the way football works and reporting works, that sounds like a hater, right? I got this really bad last year when I was like, we can do better. We shouldn't be 4-8. We're losing games by 1 score. And people are like, oh my God, Matt's a hater. And I think there's 2 different groups. There's prime sexuals who can't get over anything you say, even in a constructive way for Coach Prime and the team. And then there's Colorado fans. And this year, everything's smashed together. Like now, it's just everybody's rolling with Colorado, and it's pretty cool. I think it's awesome because winning unifies everybody. You know what I'm saying? And it makes the people that just want to make it about, like, look, football's not about what you say. It's not about what reporters say. It's not about what players say. It's not about what coaches say. It's not about what recruits say. It's damn sure not what the chat says, or the community. Right. It's about what you do. Yeah. So the fact that you said this at the beginning, like, I'm going to go back and remember the press conference when we were standing there and I looked at you and I was like, dog, fucking Deion Sanders is our coach. Can you believe this shit? And you're like, nope, it's fucking crazy. Like, it's go back and listen to what he said, what he was going to do. He's done all of it. And so my question to you is full circle is here. Do you see any way that he, like, uproots and goes and does this again somewhere else without the same pieces? Like, it was so unique what he got to do. He got to bring the best quarterback, the best player, an entire coaching staff that was loyal to him pretty much. A lot of those guys are gone, but a lot of them are still there. Like, Rodney's still there, Coach Hart's still there, Flea's still, like, a lot of his guys are still there. He gets to do whatever he wants on a social media platform, which has taken CU to another echelon. Bucky, Deion Sanders Jr., well off, has literally, I don't know if you can give an Emmy for fucking YouTube and all that shit, but he should win one. He's kind of revolutionized how this is being done. And he's kind of, he has rewrote the NIL playbook on how to recruit. Why in God's green earth would he ever leave to go redo this somewhere else without the same pieces? Yeah,
I don't see it. To me, the biggest threat, to Colorado to losing Coach Prime is TV. I don't see him leaving Colorado and going to another job. I've always believed that when he is done at Colorado, he's done coaching, and I think that he can go and he'll make more money doing TV, and he can have a schedule set up to where he can go watch Shador and Shiloh and Travis play their NFL games. And I don't know if it's after this year or not. I don't know if it's after 3 years from now, but I do think he genuinely loves Colorado. I think he loves being here. I think it's really grown on him. I think he loves how much people have been good to him here. And kind of to your point there, he's got it. He has everything in the palm of his hand. He can control everything. And if you go to people mention Alabama or A&M or Florida State, if you go to some of those places, it's the boosters that run those places, right? And so there's a lot of times that he's not gonna be able to do everything that he wants to do because there's some guy with $100 million that's going to say, no, you're not going to do that. I'm going to have you play this guy because I just bought him, or things like that. And so I think he's in a really good spot for him because it allows him to be him.
No doubt. Yeah.
Love it. A couple more for Brian here before we get you out of here, bro. Thank you for taking the time today. We definitely want to elaborate on the rest of the schedule here too. But Bailey, I know you got one or two more before I wrap this up.
Well, yeah, speaking of the schedule, let's go ahead and talk about 4 games left. Let's kind of look ahead at least to Texas Tech here. This is going to be an interesting matchup. Colorado is actually underdogs in this game headed down to Texas Tech. I think offensive – yeah, makes no sense. How?
Just pissing people off even more. 4.5-point underdogs to a team that gives up 60 points at home every week. Get the fuck out of here with this. What's happening?
Exactly. Brian, yeah, like Matt said, Texas Tech, I think Colorado has definitely the chance to put up some serious points here. What are your thoughts on this game?
Yeah, the lines have been interesting, and I've never been a gambler, so I don't fully understand all that stuff. I just know the basics of it. But
you're a reporter too. You can't even gamble, can you?
Well, you could, yeah, but there's a lot to do, But that's just never been my world. But things like you go to Arizona, they were underdogs going to Arizona, and we were like, why? Like, how are they underdogs going to this game? Arizona stinks, And then I think it was like about a touchdown at Cincinnati, which I could see a little bit because Cincinnati was coming in pretty good. But I don't know how they're underdogs going to Texas Tech, other than the fact that it's on the road. I do think this is their toughest game of the 4 left, and
I thought at the beginning of the year when we were picking games that they would drop this game. Like I remember playing in Lubbock in college. That place, like I told Bailey earlier in the week, what can I say about Lubbock that I haven't said about Afghanistan? That shit is bombed out and depleted. Yeah. Like, just go sit in your hotel, go play, get on the plane, get the fuck out of here.
Well, and look, I've never covered a game there. I know it's sold out, but this is not even the same group. I mean, a lot of it's changed. It's
you think I'm sexy, don't you, Doug? You are too, you sexy motherfucker.
There's a lot of the same people on this team that went down to TCU and sold out TCU and won that game too. So, and I think this is a Texas Tech team that they're the number 1 offense in the Big 12, so they can score. But I love what CU's doing defensively. I think they can limit that a little bit. And Texas Tech can't stop anybody, so how are they going to stop the best quarterback in the country?
They can't rush the passer. They're last in sacks. Like, that's a bad combination.
Yeah, if you can't get to Shador, lights out. And so I think this is one, even if CU's got to win it, same score as TCU, 45-42. Even if they've got to do that, I think they win it. But
at this point, we want things to happen a certain way with the team. But this, November in college football, when you back in the day when Coach Barnett would draw a fucking red box around November and go, we take care of these 4 and we're in the Big 12 title, or we take care of these 4 and we get to achieve our goals. That's what this is. Like, I don't know about you, but if I had to say there's a stub where you're like, hey, this could be an upset alert game, I would say it's Kansas in Arrowhead.
Yep.
Because they'll be up to play that game. It's at a neutral site. Like, they're not as bad as their 2-6 record would insinuate. But still, I'm not crazy to think that this team is 10-2, right, dog? Mike Bundy, you're the man, dog. I love it. Thank you. We're not crazy to think that they finished 10-2. And then 2-part question. If they do finish 10-2 and Kansas State beats Iowa State, and they play BYU and lose, and BYU goes to the playoff undefeated, K-State's got 3 losses. But CU's 10-2, and they're just sitting there like ranked at like 10th.
Yeah.
Don't they get in as an at-large?
Yeah, I think there's definitely a path to get in. And look, the committee understands all this, and it's a business as well, right? The committee, I think, would love to have Deion Sanders in this college football playoff, and I think that they'll find a way if they're close and if they're on the bubble deserving, they'll push them on the right side of the bubble. I think where it's going to be tough is if let's say BYU and Iowa State are both undefeated going into that Big 12 title game. CU's not getting in because I don't think 3 Big 12 teams are going to get in, and
probably
you got BYU and Iowa State. You can't take 10-2 CU over say 12-1 Iowa State.
Well, yeah, but what if BYU's ranked 4th? Because Penn State and Oklahoma, like Ohio State, are playing, and all these teams are going to play each other at the top of the rankings. So let's say BYU's undefeated and ranked 4th. They beat, and then Iowa State gets in, and Iowa State is 11-1, and they lose in the Big 12 title game, and they're ranked 6th. And CU's just sitting there at 9th, and they drop 1 to 10th. Isn't the top 12 teams in the playoff?
In theory, there's also, you could be 12th, and there's a conference champ that's 14th.
Well, yeah, so except for the top 11, because 12's going to Boise if they win out.
Right. Boise or, who knows?
Army.
Washington State.
Could be Washington State if they win. I guess you have to win the conference title too, I guess, too.
So, but there's definitely a path to get there. But, all of this certainly, and Coach Shermer said it the other day. He goes, look, everybody wants to look at these last 4. He goes, we just need to look at the next one. And so I'll do coach speak here and look at that and say, none of this is going to happen if they don't win the next 4. And so they just need to focus on that. And I've covered enough CU football, Matt, as you pointed out, to not count on 10-2 at this point, because I've seen enough over the years. Like, they better take care of business right now, and they got to go out and win in Texas Tech. That could be a game that trips them up because of that offense at Texas Tech. But I think if they're 10-2, they got a legitimate shot, and they're in the conversation, and that's all you want.
Fuck yeah, dog. That makes me happy. All right, Bailey, 1 or 2 more, and we'll get them out of here. Definitely talk about the Heisman Trophy, huh?
Yeah, let's talk about that. Shedeur Sanders' stats through 8 games are off the charts, as you know, and I feel as though at times he's overlooked for the Heisman, whether that's Coach Prime being his father, and then obviously playing with Travis Hunter. What are your thoughts on the Heisman race? I mean, Matt and I said before the season that Shedeur Sanders and Travis Hunter could be competing for a Big 12 championship while competing simultaneously for a Heisman, in that conversation. What are your thoughts on this Heisman conversation, Shedeur versus Travis, and just overall?
Awesome. I wrote about that this week. I actually did some research on Heisman voting over the history. It's 88 years of history and 42 years of them inviting the finalists down to New York. I'll say this. I'm a stat guy, so I'm going to give you this. There's only been 8 times when teammates have been invited to New York as finalists. Mm-hmm. And 7 of those times, the team was undefeated and ranked 1 or 2. So take Colorado out of that because they're not undefeated. The only time that a team with a blemish had 2 guys there was 2016. Oklahoma had 2 guys there. They were 10-2, like Colorado could be. And it was Baker Mayfield and D.D. Westbrook. We're down there as finalists, and so there is some
Baker
precedent.
won, right?
No, Baker did not win it that year. I can't remember who won it that year, but it was. I think he won it the next year. I think it was the Alabama quarterback.
Maybe Ingram or something. Derrick Henry, something like that.
Lamar Jackson that year.
I can't remember who won it that year. It wasn't Baker. I think he was second, but
Lamar. Lamar Jackson.
That might have been Lamar. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it might have been Lamar, but there is a little bit of precedent. But that Oklahoma team was also they ran the table in the Big 12, and they had a bunch of top 25 wins. What's going to hurt Shedeur more than anything is that CU doesn't have any big wins, and they won't have any top 25 wins unless they win the Big 12 over like an Iowa State or BYU. So that's going to hurt him, and I don't believe that the Sanders name hurts him. I just think that precedent shows that if you're a quarterback and you're down there, you're generally the quarterback of the number 1, number 2, number 3 team. And so, something like that.
So do you think that same narrative will hurt Travis? Because I don't.
No, I don't. I think Travis is a whole different story. I think Travis, to me, is so unique that I think as long as he doesn't get hurt, he's in New York. And as long as he keeps doing what he's doing, he wins it. I don't know how you give it to somebody else if Travis keeps doing what he's doing. If you're a 1,000-yard receiver and you're leading the conference in pass breakups and you got a handful of interceptions and you're an All-American at 2 different positions, how do you not win the freaking Heisman Trophy?
How do you not win the Heisman Trophy? I don't know either.
I actually had somebody I had a tweet earlier this week mentioning Travis leads the Big 12 in receptions, receiving touchdowns, and pass breakups. And there was
pretty good.
So a Boise State fan, naturally, because they want their boy Austin Genty, and he's really good too.
And look, he's a monster. No one's saying he's not. That kid is a fucking G.
Yeah. He came back and said, "Well, that's great. What does Travis lead the nation in?" And I wrote back and I said, "Well, number of positions in which he's an All-American in the midseason. nobody else has got 2 of them." So that's a big one, And to me, Travis wins it as long as he stays healthy and Colorado keeps winning. If Colorado has an 0-4 November, he's not going to win it.
Oh God, don't even say that. That makes my heart hurt.
I just got. As a
reporter,
I got to throw it out there.
You got to provide both sides of the coin. Yes,
but look, Colorado's not going to have an 0-4 November, so I don't worry about that. No. My bigger concern there is whether Travis stays healthy. If he does, he's going to win it. And I do think actually being a Sanders is going to help Shedeur more than hurt him, because if they're go 10-2. I think they're going to want to star down there. I think his star power gets him more votes, and so I think it helps him more than hurts him. So I think they could be that second team along with that Oklahoma team to get 2 guys down in New York, and wouldn't that be amazing? I mean, when was the last Buff down in New York?
Finished 10-2, 2 guys at the Heisman, one of them winning, 4-0 in November, chance to go to the playoff. Like, bro, 2 years ago when we were sitting there at 1-11, and I was like, I don't know if this could get any worse. And you're like, it can't.
Well,
thank God this is happening.
The other thing that could happen in December is what we talked about earlier, is it could be a banner signing day as well. So December could be one of the biggest.
Bro, they're going to have such a good recruiting class.
Yeah. But think about all those things that could happen to see you in December, right? You just mentioned Big 12 title. Okay. You have a Heisman. You have a college football playoff, maybe, and then a recruiting class that could be off the charts.
That'd be top 15, top 10 in the country. Yeah.
I mean, you'd have to mark that as one of the best Decembers in Colorado.
Yeah, bro. That is awesome.
Yeah.
This is what we're talking. This is what we want. Fuck. Thank God.
This is why they hired Deion Sanders in 2020.
Absolutely, dog. Well, look, Brian, we appreciate you. Go do your thing. The beat writer for the Boulder Daily Camera and the Buff Zone, and the author of 100 Things You Need to Know About the Colorado Buffaloes Before You Die, and they need to add to that book, Stat. Mr. Brian Howell joins us here on the show. B, go do your thing, bro. We appreciate all you do, and enjoy the ride, homie, because it's about to get real fun.
You bet. Thanks, Bailey, and thanks, Matt. Feel better.
Thank you for joining, Brian. Have a great day. Brian Howell, thank you so much for joining. That was a great interview. Big Matt, man, that was awesome.
I've known him forever. He's a great guy. Look, people in the chat, guys, you've got to let go of all this shit.
Yeah. Come on.
It makes you sound like a vindictive woman scorned or something. Like, and if you are a woman scorned, I'm sorry. You don't need to yell at me about that too. Like this, you're just a dog barking at every car that you think is like offending you. Calm down, man. It's okay to get a different perspective. He's not a hater. He's a reporter. Yeah. He reports day by day. He doesn't speculate like we do.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
And also, I've been super hard on Colorado. Why do you keep coming back to me?
Good question.
Because constructive criticism is actually how you show love in this game? Yeah, that's what I thought. So just stop. Okay,
let's go. Take a commercial. We'll be back in 2 minutes.
Whether it's offensive linemen as they work combos and double teams and also pass, pro, and punch, I think the unique physicality of this is outstanding. So much so that you can use it for your shield on punt team or as you rush in the shield. There's so many different ways that we're using it. We get better a little bit every single day, and I just wanted to say thank you because I hadn't ever thought of this, and when I saw it, it made total sense, and we're doing a great job with it. So thank you, man. Go Big Red.
And we're back.
I don't know why that keeps happening, but the next time it happens, I'm not going to have a computer.
We'll figure it out.
I'm going to ricochet this motherfucker off the floor as hard as I can. And I'm going to do it on my phone from now on. I swear to God, and everything else. And everything fucking holy. I don't know why that keeps happening, but it's driving me nuts. Look, I'm not all the negativity and shit, like calling people lames because they didn't fucking support last year when they were 4-8. It's not his job to support, you idiots. It's his job to report, not support. Yeah. Reporters who support have agendas. You can't trust anything they say.
Yeah.
I don't understand people these days, bro. Like, if we say one thing that your little fucking rabbit ears don't like, everyone's a piece of shit and doesn't know what they're talking about and they're idiots and lame and all this other, like, nah, you're the fucking lame.
Yeah, and Brian's a veteran. He's a veteran in the game. Like, he's been doing this forever. Like, I don't understand.
He used to cover me, for God's sakes. Like, he's a real one. I'm just like, you're the same people that will roast Clapp for his opinion, or come at me for my opinion, or go after Chad Brown for his opinion. Great buffs who have an opinion, who have the right to say whatever the fuck they want.
Yeah, no.
So I don't understand it, bro. Like, you gotta understand, like, people. The more that you put yourself out there and you are this person, the pointing the finger, everybody's wrong, the more I think you're the problem. I'm just saying. It's very much like the political world we live in. All the Karens and leftists that are pointing at me, telling me I'm wrong for what I support. Maybe you're the fucking problem, dog, because I don't have a problem with how you live. Yeah, I don't care who you fuck. I don't care what you fuck. I don't care what you think you are. I don't care the trans-testicle part. I don't give a flying fuck what you do. You dress up like a cat. You can go dress up like a spaceman today if you want. It's Halloween every day for y'all. Mm-hmm. So, like, don't just sit here and act like this moral authority that you have because you're in the chat to talk down to people and shit who do this professionally. So just watch it. Like, come on. And last year was last year. What do you want him to do? Like, you want a reporter to keep the same narrative? That's not the way reporting works. I thought you knew this.
I don't think people really understand how reporting works, Big Matt. I'm going to be honest with you. The more
it's just annoying. Like, goddamn, people like, oh, this is the guy that hated on Prime, I think. I think this guy hated on Prime. Let's dig up some dirt. So you just go on the internet and you're like, oh, he did. He fucking said something last year on September 18th. And oh my God, it's on now. Let's pile on him and get him fired. Yeah, fuck him. What is wrong with y'all?
Yeah, I really don't get it.
And look, I said something about the left, and now everybody's angry. I'm in the middle, idiots. I think the right is equally as crazy. So again, run with what I said and make a narrative off of it. And again, point those fingers, especially on the left side, because I can't see that way. So point away. I don't give a fuck what you do. I can't even see left.
Yeah.
How do you want me to think left if I can't see left?
Point away. Exactly. Well, we're going to take a quick 2-minute break. When we come back, we're going to talk Bo Nix and the Denver Broncos balling right now. Bo Nix was named Rookie of the Month, I believe, in the AFC. They take on the Ravens this week. Huge matchup. We're going to discuss that. We're going to discuss Thursday Night Football tonight. The Texans take on the Jets, who are favorites tonight against the Texans for some reason. This is going to be We're going to discuss that. We're also going to discuss Robert Livingston, Colorado's defensive coordinator's comments on their defense and saying, Travis Hunter, he basically sets their culture. Travis is our culture. We're going to discuss that as well.
Hold on. So I read when I said Phillip Dukes was on 3, was coming on tomorrow.
Yeah, so
somebody said he got fired. He got fired.
Here's from what I understand, Coach.
I just texted him. He didn't tell me he got fired.
Yeah, so here's what I understand. I saw a tweet from Coach Prime about this too. I'm going to pull it up here. But yeah, it appears that he was let go from On 3 today. Coach Prime tweeted, said, "What's really going on? My man Dukes Scoop," talking about Phillip Dukes, obviously, is a free agent. I just heard. This young brother is truly talented, smart, relational, and will work his butt off. Networks and media outlets, please check him out. On 3 Sports, what's really going on? God bless you, my brother. So, yeah, it does appear that.
So what they let him go for? Kicking ass? Didn't his last stream get a ton of likes and views and shit?
Yeah, I'm not too sure on that. I just found that. I read that tweet 5 or 10 minutes ago. But I mean, we will. I'm sure hear a reason. I mean,
fuck, man, we got to ask him tomorrow.
Can't wait to have him on the show tomorrow.
Who has the audacity to fire you? You're doing a great job. What the fuck?
Hell, he does a hell of a job.
He probably offended someone, and they were like, "Oh my God, I'm so offended by what Phil said. I'm gonna have to get rid of Dukes. He can't be here anymore. He doesn't think like we think. We've got to get rid of him. Oh my God."
Yeah, unfortunately,
you fucking Karen ass motherfuckers.
That is the world we live in.
And look, if you're offended when I call you a Karen and you're a dude or a chick, I'm talking to you. Exactly. You soft ass Karen ass motherfucker, you. Especially the ones in Highlands Ranch. Y'all suck. Man, I'm sorry your husband doesn't fuck you right or whatever goes on at your house, but damn, you got a bush in your ass, dog. It's just a football game where you got your ass kicked. You don't get to talk if you lose 70-10. You get to shut the fuck up and wait till next week.
Amen to that. We'll take a 2-minute break. We'll be back with much more on the other side. We appreciate you to all 1,000 people in here. Make sure you hit that like button, subscribe, and become a member of the Dungeon family for only $2.99. For Big Matt's film breakdowns at 60 Academy and much more. We appreciate you. We'll be back in 2 minutes.
Whether it's offensive linemen as they work combos and double teams and also pass, pro, and punch, I think the unique physicality of this is outstanding. So much so that you can use it for your shield on punt team or as you rush in the shield. There's so many different ways that we're using it. We get better a little bit every single day, and I just wanted to say thank you because I hadn't ever thought of this, and when I saw it, it made total sense, and we're doing a great job with it. So thank you, man. Go Big Red. What this has done for us is it's allowed us to, because of the surface area, because of its firm nature, I can still strike against another player and have to use that punch just like you do on a sled. At the same time, have to time my punch because it could move. I can teach defensive linemen how to handle double teams because they can feel pressure. We can simulate contact in a safe environment in non-contact times because of this unique bag.
Welcome down here to the Lab 60 Football Academy, 60 Strength and Fitness. I am your owner and operator, Matt McChesney. I just wanted to let everybody know that 60 is now on Cameo. You can go on Cameo and request any tips for training, any offensive line, defensive line tips, recruiting tips. I get so many inquiries in my inbox on a daily basis about tips and can you look at my film and can you do this? Can you break down something for me? I'd love to. All right? It's like the Joker said, my man, right here. If you're good at something, never do it for free. So Cameo is now your bridge to 60 Football Academy. Go in, request what you want, tips, suggestions, recruiting, film, and we will make sure that you get the absolute best from the best. So check out 60 on Cameo at 60 Academy. Cameo, 60 Academy. Cameo, 60 Academy.
And we're back. Big Matt. Great show on this fine Thursday. We have Brian Howell on earlier. That was a great interview. I mean, he's the frickin' man. Covers both.
Hey, so tell them how to do this because people keep asking me and they can't figure it out.
All right, so if you'd like a shirt, head on over to 60strength.com. We'll drop the link here. We got Big Matt's quote from Mark Jones and Brock Heward and every announcer that has now said it.
A bunch of 60 stuff, but yeah, man.
Yeah, just head on over there, 60strength.com. I'll drop the link here.
Hey, you want to see one that I thought was really funny? Look at this one.
Let's see.
Look at this one. Made me laugh, dog. 9 out of 10 of people saying the worst about Prime are Trump supporters.
I don't know what to say to that one. I don't know what to say to that, Big Matt. This is a crazy time of the year.
The world that we live in, dog. I'm going to take politics and football and I'm going to smash that shit together and I'm making a fucking casserole regardless of how it tastes. It doesn't matter. The ingredients may not mix, but we're making casserole today, bitch.
And literally.
Yeah, ask them, bro. I'm voting for Trump, and I love Prime. So what do you?
I'm voting for Trump too. I don't just say.
Oh my
God damn. But hey,
right. The next one is you're voting for Trump. I can't watch this anymore. Oh, he doesn't.
Man, I'm gonna say this because this is a thing I read in our comments. No matter what, like political views y'all got, man, we cover the Buffs either way. Like, come on. Like,
this is a fact.
Yeah, Matt, thank you. Well said. Well said. So take it as well said, Keisha. Like,
all right, let's move on to talk about the goddamn Jets. Why?
Let's move on and talk about this, Big Matt. Thursday night football tonight. Jets and Texans. CJ Stroud versus Aaron Rodgers. Texans got to go up to MetLife, take on the Jets, the struggling Jets with Devontae Adams. What are you looking to see out of this game? I will note that the Jets are 2.5 favorites.
Mr. Miami. I don't really like either of them, but I do like the show, and I like that you like it. You're the man. Thanks,
Mr. Miami. Yeah.
Amen
to that. But yeah, Matt, what are your thoughts on this game? This is gonna be an interesting matchup, quarterback matchup. I'm excited to see it, but it's on Thursday Night Football on Prime. Again, stupid question.
No, I need to. This is a good question. This is a practice question. Okay, this is one of those questions at practice where you're like, would you rather make out with Trump or Kamala? Me? Boy, I don't know. I'm going to have to get back to you on that one tomorrow. But the fact that I have to think about it tells you how much I like her.
There you have it.
This is a question.
Let's talk about the Jets, Big Mac.
Oh my
God. What are your thoughts from this game, or what are your initial thoughts? Preview it. What do you expect?
Here are my thoughts. Why in the fuck are the Jets still on national TV?
Yeah, they do have a lot of.
Is this just a way to? I understand that it's all I know it's predetermined, folks. It's a rhetorical question. Relax. But this is just it's pain. It's like we all thought they would be good. They sucked. They're bad. They're really bad. They're going to get hammered by Houston, bro. I don't care if they're home. They're not winning.
I agree. No,
they're not going to win. They're not going to fucking win. Come on, dog.
Yeah.
Get out of here. And even if they do win, it doesn't matter. So what? They're 3-6 or 3-7? Yay. The season is over. This experiment is done. Rodgers and all these dudes next year, Devontae Adams, they won't be back. Tyron Smith won't be back. They'll have to redo everything again. So I don't know, dog. I don't know. I just at this point, as a Jet alum, I hope the Houston Texans beat the dog shit out of them at this point. Just fucking destroy them. Just because this shit, I want it to go as bad as humanly possible if it's going to go that way. So I can at least wear a bag on my head. All you Karens know something about that. Bags on your heads, it's the only way your husband will jump on you.
Jesus.
Yeah, I'm on one today, motherfucker.
I know. I think I'm with you on this. I think the Jets are struggling. I don't know how you feel about the firing Robert Saleh, but that hasn't seemed to solve anything. I think Robert Saleh, you saw the report that he was going to fire Hackett, and he got fired before he could do it. I think the more as we go on, that's what I think. I think that,
5 years ago, 4 years ago, I thought Aaron Rodgers was pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
He felt. Why do quarterbacks fall off this cliff so fast? They just play too long. You don't see other players fall off like this because they can't play until they're 40 because their bodies are fucking kicked. Unless you're fucking, who's the name of that huge tackle that's played? Jason Peters. He's 42 and he's played forever.
Oh, the Seahawks just signed him. He's playing another season with the Seahawks.
There you go. Fucking Jason Peters is a freak. And Mercedes Lewis, who's played forever. But I just
playing too, yeah.
The quarterbacks, when they get old, bro, they fall off a cliff. And I didn't want to see this because I wanted the Jets to be good. But I know it's a curse playing for the Jets. I'm glad I did it. But God damn it. This is just the way it works, bro. The Jets are a mockery of a franchise. They're laughable. This sucks.
Yeah. I don't know. I'd like to say. I think this will be probably a higher. I'm expecting it to be a higher scoring game than normal on Thursday night. We've seen a lot of crappy Thursday night games over the years. Yeah, I think the Jets are going to struggle. I think Houston with Joe Mixon, they're going to really pound the rock. C.J. Stroud and play action is going to hit them.
Yeah, I don't care if they don't have
Nick Collins. So I think I looked to see Tank Dell have a big day. I don't know. I think Texans win big here. That's my thoughts. Let's move on to another one of your teams, the Denver Broncos and Bo Nix. Bo Nix was named Offensive Rookie in the month. His stats here look playing pretty damn well. Broncos are winning, 5 wins. Big Matt, what are your thoughts on Bo Nix' performance so far this season? Before we look at
this is going to piss Bronco fans off, but we've beaten really, really bad teams that are beat up, and we've lost to teams that have their shit together. Really,
right?
Like look at the teams we lost to; they're pretty good. The teams we beat are dog shit, like the worst teams in the NFL. So I'm happy about this. This is what you want. They're 5-3. They're in playoff contention. This is where you want to be halfway through the season. Obviously, Bo Nix is fucking doing his job. He's doing a good job. He's Offensive Rookie of the Month. I'm with all that. But they play at Baltimore, who just lost to Cleveland and is going to be pissed. And I know Lamar hasn't practiced, but he's going to play.
Yeah.
They go to Kansas City, and then they host Atlanta. So I'm not trying to say Atlanta's in that group with Baltimore and Kansas City, but it's a hard 3-game stretch, especially going on the road to Baltimore, coming home, on the road to Kansas City, coming home, and then having to deal with Kirk Cousins, who can slice people up. Now, if I think they could win one of those 3, it would be Atlanta at home. But I'm really eager to see how they play against Baltimore.
I agree.
If this number 1 defense in Denver that's all good, are we really this good?
Yeah.
Can we go shut down that running game, especially if Lamar's hurting a little bit and they got to really rely on Derrick Henry for 35 carries? I know that's a little out there. No one really does that anymore, but let's say 25.
Yeah.
So can they go to Kansas City and win there for the first time in forever? And last year was the first time they'd beaten Kansas City in 8 years. So, can you go on the road and do it now with a rookie quarterback? I don't know. So this is either going to be a coronation for maybe the Rookie of the Year in the AFC, because Jaden Daniels is probably going to win the whole thing, or it's going to be a fucking baptism, and it's going to be just 2 weeks of okay, we're not what we thought we were, and now we're sitting at 5-5, and we got to win the Atlanta game to stay consistent, maybe get into the playoffs. So I'm not saying Kansas City is great. I'm not saying Baltimore is great, but I think they're both better than Denver, and they're at home. And Kansas City may not be great, but they sure have found a way to go undefeated. So again, it's more about how you win and winning than just looking good. I mean, we can look as good as we want, but you still have to win the fucking games. So, this is an interesting middle of the season little, road that they got to go down. But I'm eager to see it, bro. I love watching Baltimore play, so that's cool. We get Baltimore, Denver, and Kansas City, Denver are always good games. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, no doubt. I'm excited to see it. The Broncos defensively, I mean, like you said, this game's going to be a tiller for their season. I mean, are they legitimate or not? Lamar banged up. I mean, the Browns played him tough with Jameis. But, you could argue that, the Ravens were a drop pick away from winning that game. So they're going to be pissed off coming into this game.
They didn't play well either. They played like shit. They were coming off a Monday night game. They just didn't play well. So the Turks, and that's the Cleveland Super Bowl every year. Remember, Baltimore is Cleveland. Cleveland is Baltimore. Einhorn is a man. Einhorn is a man.
Yeah, but we'll see. I'm excited to see the Broncos defense. We'll see, though. It's going to be an interesting matchup for Denver and Baltimore for sure. Baltimore's going to be pissed off and expect to see a lot of Derrick Henry in that game for sure. Big Matt, let's move forward here. Before we get out of here, did you see Warren Sapp's Halloween costume?
Yeah, it's not bad.
Yeah, just gotta show a little bit of Halloween. It's Halloween today. I know Big Matt and I aren't dressing up, but just gotta show Coach Sapp, rocking the mask on Halloween. Just something funny to show. Let's move forward here, though. Keep going here before we get out of here on this fine Thursday. Colorado defensive coordinator Robert Livingston was talking about, Coach Mathis and Colorado's corners, and also just talking about the culture. He says Travis is our culture, kind of elaborating on Travis Hunter's work ethic and how the defense really embodies that. Take a listen here.
Obviously, coached a lot of talented, DBs at the highest level. You look at the Big 12, kind of stats this year. I think Travis leading the conference in pass deflections, DJ, pressing right behind him. What do you see out of the secondary that's kind of making it play at such a high level, so far through 8 or so games?
Competition. I think it's very easy in life when you have success to kind of step back and rest on your laurels or feel yourself or whatever, and they're competing every day. It starts with their position coach. Again, I've told you, I think Coach Masters is the best. He gets the most out of those guys. Anytime you have a guy like Travis that works the way he works, it's gonna rise everybody else's level, right? Like, if your best player is not your hardest worker, it's hard to have a culture. Travis is our culture, right? He's the standard. So when everybody tries to be Travis, you're going to be pretty good. So it's a testament to those guys and obviously Coach Mathis.
Very accurate statement there, Big Matt. Your thoughts?
Well, we've been saying this for a while now that they're running things in Boulder like it's an NFL factory.
Yeah.
And every day, if you walk in and you're on eggshells because you could lose your job if you have a bad day, that's what competition is.
Mm-hmm.
So, again, it's not feelings ball up in Boulder. And I know that's really hard for some of y'all, but, hey, I'd rather have real football than feelings ball. This isn't friend ball time. This is winning time. So This is what it takes, bro. Like, not everybody's going to like each other, but you will respect each other. Not everybody's going to understand why we work as hard as we do outside of the room. That's not our problem. That's their problem. So I'm really excited about the future, bro. I think he has got to get re-upped. You got to figure out a way to keep him here because we're going to lose a lot of guys off this team to the draft. I'm sure people will go to the transfer portal. They have to capitalize on their good play as well. That's the way college football works these days.
Yep.
But I'm telling you, if you can keep your coaching staff pretty much intact, you should be able to really, really, really drive in another crop of just excellent players. I don't know if they'll be as electric as they are this year, obviously, with Shedeur and Travis being gone. But Juju is going to look good in the Colorado Buffalo uniform. Look, I'm not guaranteeing anything, but that guy's going to flip.
Yeah, or you see it. Jordan Seaton, I believe, posted a photo. Card Smith commented future teammates on it. I mean, the ball's rolling here to get those two USC commits, Juju and Card Lewis, a big tackle. So, Matt, we posted a vertical today talking about kind of Colorado's recruiting and stuff. I mean, this is a testament to it. They're starting to really, really make some moves here in the recruiting game. So that's shout out to Coach Prime and CU for that. Great show on this fine Thursday, Big Matt. Brian Howell joined us. We also talked a little NFL. What are your closing thoughts before we get out of here, man? Great show on this fine Thursday.
Happy Halloween. Don't be smug fuck and have some like candy for the kids. If you give out like toothbrushes or fucking floss or like healthy snacks on Halloween, go jump off of a building, you piece of shit. You're probably the same person that's like, I'm like, Merry Christmas. Like, I don't celebrate Christmas. I'm sure your house is awesome over the holidays.
You put
your holiday party is going to be awesome.
At your house? That's what you're doing?
So, am I doing that?
Yeah.
Yeah, man. I got fucking candy and shit for the kids, of course.
You hear what JB's doing?
No, I don't have a fucking flat panel van that says free candy on it like his weird ass does.
No, he has a sign that says like "Stay the fuck away" or something like that. Like,
he's a dick.
He says he hates Halloween. He hates candy. He's like
he hates everything that's fun. I'm surprised he likes pussy.
He definitely loves that.
I don't know. Does he?
AEs. So
he just does it out of spite. He does it because he just has to. He hates that too.
Yeah, well, great show on this fine Thursday. Happy Halloween to all those watching. We appreciate you. Make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to 0 to 60. This show's really growing, so we appreciate you guys, the members.
Are we at 11,000 yet?
We're like 10 away from 11,000. We're 7 away, so make sure you hit that subscribe button.
Come on, subscribe, you fucking haters.
Yeah, hit that subscribe button. We're almost to 11K. Man, we can't thank you all enough. To Stanley Harris, Mike Bundy, and all the others who donated. We appreciate the donations as well, helping us grow the show. We appreciate you. We'll be right back here tomorrow. with Philip Dukes. It's gonna be a great show tomorrow. I can't wait.
What's really going on? I mean, if dude has a job or not. If he doesn't have a job, somebody's going to give him a job quick because he does a good job doing his job.
Amen to that, no doubt, no doubt. But we appreciate you all watching. We'll be back tomorrow, and happy Halloween. Go Buffs. Peace.
Peace.